Good morning, Kansas City. Welcome to Uncanceled on KCMO Talk Radio 95.7 FM. I'm Kevin Kietzman, getting the week started right, folks, with some interesting stories today. That's all I can say is I found some things that are really different and interesting. Not necessarily good. But we're going to have a bunch of topics on the broadcast today. And as always, if you'd like to join us, we'd love to have you call in and share your opinion with us. Also, a little bit later, we'll check in with Mark Van Sickle as, oh boy, did he and I have a rough weekend with our picks from Friday's show. Sorry about that, folks. Remember, it's just for entertainment purposes.
That's right.
Don't go gambling your money on our picks. Boy, we were bad. Our picks weren't even close. They were just behind the entire game. Just got torn up, but so it goes. We'll start today with a follow-up on the news that Pete Mundo broke earlier today on Mundo in the Morning. If you were listening at 6 a.m. or 9 a.m., he recapped it, that the Royals are actually spending their own money in Clay County right now, funding due diligence and whatnot, working toward the possibility of getting a Clay County Sports Authority and a possible vote on the ballot in the spring that would be a half-cent sales tax that would have to be approved by voters. We both have some sources in Clay County that have shared some information with us over the last few months, I guess is probably the way to say it. And I'll just say this, they are very, very confident that the vote would pass. So when you hear about a vote going on the ballot and the Royals making plans, okay, is it Clay County, is it Overland Park, where exactly are the Royals going to go? I mean, they've done poll after poll after poll, and it says that the residents there will support taking the Royals from Jackson County and moving them into Clay and putting them in North Kansas City. Now, I'm not going to sit here and tell you I know what the Royals are doing because I don't. This thing's been protracted and drawn out and silly for the better part of 4 years now with these two teams, and the Chiefs are just dead silent. They're clearly waiting for the Royals to move, and then the Chiefs will probably say what their intentions are. And I don't know that the Chiefs even know what the Royals are doing at this point. It just seems to me that these teams should have at least a really, really, really good idea of what they want to do and then how to make that happen. My take on all of this is I love the Clay County side. I think that is the most baseball-y place I can think of. Would a ballpark succeed in Overland Park? Maybe if the residents don't stop it. There's going to be a lot of pushback from residents that live nearby 119th and Knoll. If the Royals wanted to go there, there'd be a lot of pushback from people who own homes that do not want all that traffic, the lights, and the whole thing. But I've been to a lot of ballparks in my life. I've been very fortunate in my career to travel the country and get to go to most of the really great sports venues in the United States. And the best baseball parks, the best ballparks to go to are, they're like walking neighborhoods. So if you think about Fenway, you think about Wrigley Field, these are older parks in older neighborhoods. There's tons of stuff to do around the ballpark, and it just feels like a neighborhood. This exists in North Kansas City. That's exactly what it feels like. I go to the dentist there. Dr. Bush is a great sponsor. NKC Dental, he's over on 94.9. DJ Kirby's dance party, I think he sponsors every Saturday night. So he's a great advertiser of Cumulus Media, and I go to the dentist there, and every time I go down there, it's charming, it's fun, it's quaint, it's sort of historic. It's been there a long time, and if you put the proper ballpark in there and integrate it within that community, it's going to be a special location. I mean, a really special location. I love it. Now, that's just one guy with a microphone's opinion on the fact that I love that site. I just think it feels and screams baseball to me. If you put it in Overland Park, that's very close to where I worked for 23 years, about 3 blocks away from there. And my first house that I had in Kansas City was fairly close to there. Know the neighborhood very, very well. And the ballpark would be fine, but it's like a lot of other things. It will just be plopped in a spot, and there's all the shopping and all these other things there, and the new indoor go-kart thing, and they're trying to do more entertainment. I get it. The Royals want to try to look at that site and say, we want to incorporate and do this, but I don't know that it would ever be built out and feel like a ballpark neighborhood. I think it will feel like Overland Park just plopped a ballpark down. And so there it is, right there, just sitting there. I really love the Clay County location, so I was pleased to hear Pete's reporting today that the Royals are spending money on the Clay County location right now, and we could have an initiative on the ballot maybe in the spring for a half-cent sales tax. It was also interesting to hear Governor Kehoe on with Pete today, who said he thought Deron McGee and the people in Jackson County were quote, keeping talks alive with the teams, is the way he described it in Jackson County. And then he later went on to say about Jackson County that the taxpayers are, quote, up to their ears in taxes, he said. I don't know how Jackson County gets something done. I guess if you put the Chiefs on the ballot by themselves, and it would actually be a lesser tax than what's in place now, it might make sense. People in Jackson County might vote for that. People in Jackson County are angry. They are angry. It is no sure thing. It sounds like a sure thing. Put the Chiefs on the ballot anywhere, and people will vote yes. It sounds like a sure thing. I don't think there's any sure things right now in Jackson County. I think the people that live there are disgusted with their property taxes. They're embarrassed by the slapshot, foolhardy leadership that they've been provided with at their county level the last few years. And right now, I don't know that they vote yes for anything. They would have polling. They're not going to go make some sort of a move and put something on the ballot unless they have polling that says, hey, this is going to pass. But we don't really have that much information on that. For the Chiefs and what they're going to do, I just can't get it out of my head that nobody renovates stadiums anymore. I'm watching the London game yesterday, very early. It was 8:30 in the morning. The Vikings and the Browns played in London. I know I'm a junkie. I'm an NFL junkie, so I'm up early. I'm watching football on a Sunday morning. Good enough. And the announcers are showing this animation, and it was really slick. And they say, this is the new Cleveland Browns stadium. Well, Cleveland, to me, is a team with a new stadium. This thing's like 20 years old is all. And we've talked about Chicago is moving out of theirs. D.C., they're moving back to D.C., the old RFK land, out of Maryland and back into the District of Columbia. And everybody's building brand new stadiums. Buffalo's got one coming online next year. Tennessee's got a brand new one. And the announcer says, as they're showing this animation of the Cleveland Browns, he says, wow, look at this thing. He said it's like the NFL owners are competing to outdo each other with new stadiums. And that's exactly right. Each one that opens up is better than the last. Jerry Jones started the trend many years ago with Jerry World down in Dallas, which is a spectacular facility, but it's just kind of gotten over the top. The stadium in Los Angeles is the gold standard, I think, right now in the NFL, but the Raiders have an unbelievable new stadium. Denver's going to build another new stadium. Theirs is only 21 years old, and they're building a new stadium, a $5-6 billion project that's getting no public funding. The Walton family said, we're just going to do this ourselves. And it basically is a development. They're going to obviously develop entertainment district and everything else. So it's not just a football stadium. And it's going to be in like their rail yard area just south of downtown Denver. Everybody is doing it. Every team in the league is doing it. I don't know how, I can't even imagine, unless Clark Hunt is just cheap and does not want to spend much money, that he would renovate Arrowhead Stadium again. I don't know where the revenue comes from. They have had an opportunity for 50, 55 years right there to build entertainment, build development, build whatever, and nobody's broken ground and done a thing. That hotel across the street used to be a very nice hotel, the old Adams Mark Hotel. If you folks drive by that, the windows are literally boarded up. They've been shot out or broken out or something. It looks like Florida after a hurricane. There's boards on the windows of that hotel. The Denny's is gone. It caught fire across the street. The only thing there's a gas station and a Taco Bell that work there. And that's it. I can't even imagine that they're thinking of renovating a stadium and staying right there. Now, maybe the plan is, let's get the Royals out of here. Let's drop Kauffman Stadium to the ground. Let's build a brand new stadium right there. I could maybe see that. But again, it doesn't bring you the development. It doesn't bring you the revenue year-round that it would moving to, for example, the Legends in Kansas City, Kansas. So lots of decisions to be made, but very interesting to see that the Royals are funding part of their own project right now in Clay County. I'm a big fan of that. I think that would be a great baseball location and a wonderful venue for all of Kansas City. It would guarantee at least one of the teams is staying in Missouri, and I think that would be a good thing too. And I could absolutely see where that would work, and that'd be really cool. Good stuff today on Mundo in the Morning. All right, if you'd like to join us, give us a call. Dial us up and get in on the line if you want to comment on that or anything else. A little bit later, we're getting into some strange stories here today, folks. I mean, this Fox broadcaster, Mark Sanchez, this story's unbelievable. He went out to Indianapolis to call a game for Fox, wound up getting stabbed in the hospital, and they're like arresting him in the hospital for three separate charges. We'll get into that. It's nuts. The Pittsburgh Pirates fan that fell 20 feet earlier this summer out of the stands and almost died is in the news again. I'm telling you, we got some odd stuff ahead. So stay with us. This is Uncanceled on KCMO Talk Radio. We are brought to you by our friends at bestofferkc.com, where they really have a big heart and work diligently with your family to make things happen. Beth and her sister called Best Offer a few months ago and said, we really want to move this house quickly because my dad is not of good health and he's dying and he wants it sold before he dies and see that we got the money and split it evenly and everything was good to his wishes. Best Offer got in and got it done very, very quickly. It sounds a little morbid, but it's real life. These things happen. Everybody's got a different story with bestofferkc.com. And they're not going to call your house ugly or make any kind of cheesy remarks about what it is that they do. They're working with people that need to get something done quickly and professionally and on time. It's bestofferkc.com. 816-338-SOLD. That's 338-SOLD for bestofferkc.com, helping you leave the hassle behind.
From Lenexa to Lee Summit, it's Kevin Kietzman, Uncanceled, on 95.7 FM KCMO Talk Radio.
Hey, thanks for joining us today. We really appreciate you listening every single day to KCMO Talk Radio. If you'd like to join the show, give me a call right now at 913-408-7957. That's 408-7957 if anything's on your mind. And there's a lot going on. Did you guys see this, Chris Kobach in Kansas, the THC crackdown, they're calling it? They raided 10 different businesses last week in Kansas where they went into stores that were selling THC products. And if you don't know what that is, the only ones I've seen, I don't think they were selling like gummies or marijuana. The things that I've seen, I was at a football watch party about 3 weeks ago over at a friend's house. It was one of those things where everybody brings their own cooler, whatever you're going to have to drink that night, whatever. And there was a gentleman there. I said, "What the heck is that?" And he said, "Oh, this is a THC drink." I said, "Really? Where'd you get that?" And he said, "Well, just down the street at the." I said, "In Kansas?" "Yeah, bought it in Kansas." And another person chimed in and said, "We have them shipped right to our door." So I guess there's THC in these drinks. There's no alcohol in them. And it gives you like a marijuana buzz, I guess, or high or whatever. I don't drink them. I don't know. This is not my area of expertise. But I had a conversation then with Mike Thompson, who's a state senator from Shawnee in Kansas, and asked him, how are these things legal? He says, "I don't know." This was several weeks ago. He said, "I don't know, but they're going to crack down on it." I said, "Well, who's going to crack down on it?" He said, "I'm not really sure, but I'm pretty sure that Kobach's going to go after these people." So I guess the idea is go pop 10 stores, and these people are going to have fines that they'll pay, and you're supposed to scare other retailers from having them in. I don't even know how this is possible. How do you order those things in and just sell them in Kansas if THC is illegal in the state of Kansas? It's one of the very few places where these things are illegal, but apparently they're going to be cracking down on that. No such crackdown in Portland because Donald Trump has been stopped in court again. We got chaos in Chicago. They're ramming federal agents with their cars in Chicago, and things are escalating. It's been kind of ugly over the weekend. It wasn't real pretty in Chicago. But in Portland, we talked about this Friday, they've been going for about 90 days now at different locations of federal facilities, creating havoc is basically what they're doing. So Trump wants to go in with the National Guard, and the courts have now stopped him. The judge who's done this, that's blocked him from doing it right now, is a judge that he actually appointed when he was President 45. I don't understand how a judge or a court can stop a president from defending a federal facility on American soil. That seems like the easiest legal bar to clear. Okay, let's just pick a building. It's an FBI building, let's say, and they're throwing rocks at it on the outside. You're telling me that these hooligans, Antifa or whatever they are in Portland, that are throwing crap and burning things and doing, you're telling me that Trump can't go get them and Portland's just going to allow it? That's Portland's game plan is, we hate the federal government too because Trump's in charge. So you're just sponsoring this stuff if you're Portland in the state of Oregon. And you're telling me a judge is stopping Trump from defending federal buildings. That doesn't even compute to me. I can't even, I get the other stuff. Okay, you're going to go into Chicago where the zip code, there's all these murders and it's violent and all that. I get Chicago or the state saying, hey, you really have no authority to come do that in residential neighborhoods or whatever it may be. But defending federal facilities? How can any court stop that? I don't think they'll be able to. Trump was bragging over the weekend that they're going after things right and left, that they're going to take a chaotic world and calm it down with some tough love. And one of the things he did, he said we blew up another Venezuelan drug boat over the weekend. He said, we're having a hard time finding more of them. They're not really out there on the ocean anymore. We're going to have to go to land next, he said. Now that's interesting. Where do you go to land to get the Venezuelan drug gangs? What exactly does that mean? If they're coming here by land, is he going into Mexico to get them? Are they coming up that way? If they can't get here by boat, are they coming through Mexico and Canada? Are we going to the border? Are we going to go find them in other countries? I don't know what is going to happen. I have felt all along that Trump may seriously go after the drug cartels after the midterms, that it would not be something he'd do beforehand, but after it, when he has 2 years left as president, and just go into Mexico and take them out, similar to what we did with ISIS back in the day, using drone technology and smart weapons and things like that, because the cartels are an absolute and utter nuisance. Trump was standing in front of the aircraft carrier Harry S. Truman when he said he blew up another boat and we're going to go to land. Then he announced for his 80th birthday next year, which is June 14th, Flag Day, Donald Trump will be 80 next June 14th. They're going to have a UFC fight on the lawn of the White House. They're claiming this is going to be the biggest fight card in the history of UFC, and it will all be America 250 celebration and all the other great stuff going on. That is also when the World Cup is in Kansas City, right? June 14th of next year, and World Cup tickets are on sale. So go get them. If you want to go to the World Cup, go get them. We got that going on. This Mark Sanchez story is really, really, really weird, folks. Mark Sanchez was a quarterback, and he's a broadcaster for Fox Sports. Nothing good happens at 12:30 a.m. on a Saturday morning, so this would have been Friday night. He's outside a hotel near a loading dock where a man with a big box truck is showing up at a dock to gather all the used cooking oil from this hotel. And Sanchez tries to stop him and says, I've talked to the manager of the hotel. It was the weirdest story ever. Cooking oil, Mark Sanchez on a loading dock at 12:30 a.m. And it escalates. Sanchez reportedly had been drinking, or the witness says he smelled it on him. And he pushed this man around. The 69-year-old man was driving this box truck. And he's shoving him around, and the man pulls out pepper spray. You don't mess with truckers. Truckers will defend themselves now. So he pepper sprays Sanchez, and then that wasn't enough. Sanchez came after him again and pushed him against a wall, and he pulled out a knife and stabbed him 2 or 3 times, according to the police report. And Sanchez went to the ground. He's not been out of the hospital yet. He was in critical condition at first, and now he's stable. So Sanchez is going to live. This is the weirdest story ever. What in the world was he doing? He's going to be charged with 3 crimes of attacking this guy. Like, Sanchez sounded like the victim when you first heard it, and it doesn't sound like he's a victim at all. It sounded like he was up to no good and went after this guy. It was crazy. It was just absolutely nuts to think that would happen for a Fox Sports broadcaster before a Colts-Raiders game was getting ready to take place. I've never heard a story quite like this one. Absolutely, absolutely nuts. All right, 913-408-7957 is the number to call if you would like to join us. Still ahead, we're going to get into, well, a fan that fell 20 feet at a baseball game this summer made big national news. We talked about this on the show last summer, is back in the news for a reason you won't believe. Stick around. This is Uncanceled on KCMO Talk Radio. I'm Kevin Kietzman. Give me a shout. We'll chat next.
From Overland Park to Parkville, it's Kevin Kietzman, Uncanceled, on 95.7 FM KCMO Talk Radio.
All right, let's go to the phone lines. We've got a couple of nice folks ready to share their opinion with all of us. We're going to start today with Dave in Lee's Summit. Good morning, Dave. How are you today?
Hey, Kevin. It's good to hear you on the radio again.
Thank you.
About 17 years ago, I met you and your wife. We were out at Legends, and we were at the Arthur Bryant's. We had our 2-year-old daughter with us, and you were sitting next to us, and we had chatted, and today she's 19 years old and going to Mizzou. So
all right.
It's pretty wonderful. 19 years has passed on us, or 17 years. So
that's great.
Hey, this is what I'm thinking. I don't want to see the Royals, the Chiefs and Royals move. I would love to see the Royals downtown baseball. I just think that's the best place for them. I know we can make it happen. On the Chiefs side, since Jackson County is a horrible landlord, what they should do is go ahead and sell all that land to the Hunts for $5 and let them do what they do best. Develop that land on their own. They can have it. They can spend their own money. They can build a new stadium. They can build an amphitheater. They can build whatever the hell they want around it. But I think they should give that land to the Chiefs because we are terrible landlords and we don't want to be landlords. And I was wanting to see what you thought about that. And I will get off the air and listen on the radio. And I appreciate you very much.
Okay, thank you, Dave. Appreciate that. That's very kind words, and glad your daughter's doing well at Ole Mizzou. That's really good stuff. The only drawback with that, and I agree with you about Jackson County hasn't been a particularly great landlord. It's just disheveled in Jackson County. We know that. These teams really don't want to own their own stadium. They don't want to pay taxes on it. They don't want the property taxes. Like every other Jackson County resident, they don't want to pay the property taxes. They're too high. Or as the governor told Pete Mundo earlier today, taxed up to their ears, Jackson Countyans are. So I don't think the Chiefs want to own that land and be taxed on that and their building. I think they'd rather be renters. It's generally speaking the way clubs would rather do it, although it's not everywhere. I mean, the Broncos announced that they're paying for their own stadium, that they're just building it out. So they're obviously going to have to pay taxes on that. I don't know what the city of Denver is going to do to help them, but they said this is all privately funded, that there's going to be no public involvement in Colorado, and they're spending $5.6 billion on a new stadium, and theirs is only 21 years old, but they are the richest owners in the NFL. It's the Walton family has that, but the Hunt family is said to be the second wealthiest in the NFL, and I don't know. I guess it's possible if they wanted to build a new stadium right there. If the Royals were gone, they could tear down Kauffman Stadium and build a new stadium right there. I'm just going to be surprised. If the Chiefs renovate, I'm going to be surprised. I'm not saying they won't. I'm not telling you anything that I know. I'm just going to be surprised if the Chiefs are the outlier and they go against the grain of what everyone else is doing in the NFL. And that's why I referenced that Cleveland game yesterday and what the announcer said. The NFL owners are competing to outdo each other with new stadium designs. They were right there on the broadcast. And every time you watch an NFL game with the teams getting a new stadium, they show you all these renderings and stuff. They're gorgeous. I can't believe that the Chiefs would renovate, but maybe they just love that spot. Mark is in Shawnee on KCMO Talk Radio. Hi, Mark. How are you today?
Hi, Kevin. I'm doing pretty good, and I thought about what you said about Oregon, and CBS or NBC News, one of these propaganda machines, had a picture and an article about Oregon stopping Trump, and that had Gavin Newsom. What does Newsom have to do with Oregon? But he's standing between two American flags in the most majestic picture I've ever seen of Newsom, and it's this propaganda. Like he's the next guy coming, and I just get so angry when I see it. And then I think about what's going on with these people that are rebelling against ICE and the civil unrest that it's causing. And I just wish that I was another 10. I'm in good physical condition, but my back right now is in a swords because I fell in a hole. But I can tell you this, I would love to go there and have some fun with these clowns that are attacking law enforcement officials. I have the utmost respect for people in a badge in whatever capacity they are, and we've got to stop this, and it's going to require some people getting hurt. And that's just a fact.
Well, I hope not. I hope they can just calm things down and get people to stop rioting or whatever they want to call it, picketing, demonstrating, activism, whatever it is that they call this, these people aren't safe. You know, they're violent. They have a tendency to throw things, break things, burn things. That's what their game is, to draw attention to whatever their cause is. And right now, the Democrats have basically been put in a position where they have to stand on the side of unrest, civil unrest. We stand with these hooligans doing all this stuff in all these places. That's who they're standing with. And Gavin Newsom's proud to go stand with them from California and say, we're with you, Antifa of Oregon. I don't know how this ends, but if it winds up just going to the Supreme Court, I'm pretty sure Trump's going to have the authority to do what he wants. Then you get really crazy people, Mark. Go ahead.
It's just a stall tactic. They know that these judges, these crooked judges, are going to stop him. They know it's going to the Supreme Court. But when I see, and I heard about these last two people that actually ran their cars into people, I can't remember if they ran it into ICE vehicles, but throwing bricks and stuff at those cars, I would have another group of men in these cars behind them, and they start throwing, I'm coming out, and some people are going down and going to get arrested. It's very dangerous, and you can't handle this with kid gloves. I just think this is a huge accident. Somebody's going to get killed, and unfortunately, it's going to be law enforcement, and that's what scares me.
All right, Mark. Thank you for the call, man. I appreciate it. I appreciate your passion, as always. The flip side of this is the way the people on the left are viewing it all. They think Trump is a tyrant, that he's going to take over America. Now, this is maybe the craziest Trump derangement syndrome person of all time. Now, actually, it's not. It's the second craziest. I think Keith Olbermann's the worst, the former sportscaster and then MSNBC host. But Rob Reiner, meathead from All in the Family, the director, Rob Reiner, he just jumped the shark, man. He's totally out. He did an interview this weekend and said the United States of America only has about a year left. Democracy is gone. Trump will militarize the voting booths. Trump's going to send the military to rig the elections in November of 26 because he's going to have them posted everywhere. And apparently they're going to what? Shoot you if you want to go vote for a Democrat? What is he even thinking? Where do these people come up with this stuff? Trump's going to militarize the elections and democracy will be gone. We only have a year left, says Rob Reiner. The end of democracy. They've been saying it. That would be the end of it, yes. Now, there's got to be tens of thousands of polling places across America, if not more. How in the world are you going to find personnel to stand guard and militarize every polling booth? What in the world is Rob Reiner talking about? These people work themselves into such frenzies, over stuff they just shouldn't even be worrying about. Most things you worry about never happen anyway. That's it, but not for Democrats. They're convinced it's coming to an end. The good old US of A is only going to make it one more year, and then it's all over. We had a pretty good news story today that MSNBC was part of NBC News for the better part of 30 years since its inception. Today is their official day that they're breaking off. They have a new owner of the corporation, and they want NBC News to split from MSNBC. So the new channel is going to be, and I don't think they've branded this yet. It's going to be another month before they do it. It's going to be MS Now is what they're going to call it. MSNOW. MS stands for My Source. They're going to say My Source, News of the World or something, NOW. It's going to be MS Now, and they're going to be completely independent from NBC News. That gives them free reign to be as crazy left as they want and not do damage to the NBC News brand, whatever damage is left to be done to the NBC News brand. We'll see how this all works out. I'm not sure it changes much other than a rebranding, but we'll find out. Today was the official start of that. If you are working NBC News, you're no longer going into MSNBC and vice versa. They're running them as separate operations with basically separate charters and orders of business. A man named Kevin Markwood fell out of the bleachers at a Pittsburgh Pirates game this summer and fell 20 feet onto the ground. And for a while, it looked like he might die. It was bad, and he was in the hospital a long time. Well, he's back in the news, and by the way, it's been proven that he was drinking alcohol that day. So a drunk dude, like 21 years old, falls out of the seats, gets hurt, and then the Pirates brought him back on September 20th to throw out a first pitch. I'm not sure I understand celebrating the fan that fell out of the stands and letting him throw out the first pitch. But that's not why he's in the news now. No, Kevin Markwood is in the news again because he was arrested this weekend. His ex-girlfriend called authorities when Kevin Markwood was prowling and loitering around her house, and she felt threatened, and he was on her property when she called the police. These are misdemeanors, but he did get arrested for prowling and loitering. Kevin Markwood has had one interesting 2025. I guess we'll wish him well, but I don't know what's going to happen with that young man. It doesn't look like it's going very well for him in his life. He's falling out of stands. His girlfriend clearly dumped him, and now he's getting arrested for prowling around her house. That is just flat out creepy. Okay, when we continue on Uncanceled, Mark Van Sickle will join us. We got a lot to talk about with Mark, including the best thing I saw this weekend had to do with Pete Hegseth. But it wasn't a news event. It was at a sporting event. I'll explain that next on KCMO Talk Radio.
Hey, it's Vince Gallane's Catch My News Show at 11 o'clock after Kevin Kietzman on 95.7 FM KCMO Talk Radio.
The Vince Show is coming your way in just a matter of moments. Mark Van Sickle, what was the best thing you saw this weekend? Anything good?
I enjoyed KU's win over UCF. I know you probably don't like to hear that, but I did.
Well, we talked about on Friday the over 54.5 points. That game had 47 points in it with 3.5 minutes to go in the third quarter, and nobody scored the last 18.5 minutes of the game. Unbelievable. Crazy. It was. No, KU looked good. That's a good win. Very good win. Keeping their season alive. Kansas State did not win. Missouri was off this weekend. I saw a clip on X of Pete Hegseth, the Secretary of War, in the Navy locker room after Navy beat Air Force 34-31. It was one of the best things I've ever seen. If you're not familiar with Navy, Air Force, and Army, they kind of play a round robin every year for what's called the Commander-in-Chief Trophy. So Navy's got a leg up on this because they beat Air Force. They'll play Army down the road. That's usually the last week of the season. But Hegseth went into the Navy locker room after it was over, and they all took a knee, and it was one of the most incredible things you've ever seen. It would just flat out give you goosebumps, talking about leadership and success and the way they battled and fought hard on the playing field and how they'll do that the rest of their lives. Pete Hegseth is turning into an absolute star with some of the speeches and things that he's giving. I was a little unsure, Mark, when this first happened. I thought, well, he's hired another celebrity, another broadcast. You know, Trump likes to have famous people in certain positions, but I don't know if you got a chance to see the clip or not, but Hegseth addressing those Navy football players was really cool.
I'm going to have to look that up. I'm going to post it on our socials, too.
There you go. It was really, really, really cool. I'll tell you what wasn't cool. A golfer this weekend named Vince Whaley. Vince Whaley was playing in the Sanderson Farms Championship, and he took his shoes and socks off and rolled his pants up, and he got down in the pond where his ball was sitting on some mud, and 20 feet away was a 6-foot-long alligator with his nose sticking out of the water, and he's turning and looking at it. I mean, like literally looking at it. The gator was looking at the golfer 20 feet away, and he hit the shot onto the green out of the water and climbed out of there. He's crazy. I don't think I could have in a million. He had his back turned to the alligator to hit a golf shot.
That guy's, I mean, I either say he's crazy or he's ballsy. One or the other.
Well, he put it up on the green and got it done, and I guess maybe gators don't want anything to do with humans anyway, unless it was a small human. Then this is not a small man. He's 6 feet tall, whatever. So it was pretty remarkable to watch. Monday Night Football tonight is the Chiefs and Jaguars. Jaguars are better this year. They're 3-1, a surprise team that not many people thought was going to be very good. This is no gimme. I just hear everybody keep predicting, oh, Chiefs by 7, Chiefs by 10, Chiefs whatever. This game's about a 50-50 game, isn't it, Mark?
Yeah, the Jags have looked a lot better this year. Their running game has been improved, which that's a little bit tricky for the Chiefs. Their run defense isn't always great, but I think the Chiefs' offense proved last week that they can get things going, and they should win this game, but it's not going to be easy at all.
See, I'm starting to rethink the Ravens win because the Ravens got drilled yesterday. They can't stop anybody. Their defense might be worse. Dallas and Baltimore just have terrible defenses. I mean, horrific defenses. I'm a little unsure about the Chiefs tonight because I was putting a lot of stock and credit into their performance against the Ravens last week. But looking back at that and watching what everybody has done to the Ravens are not good. They're not good. They can't stop anyone. And I think John Harbaugh is going to wind up getting fired. I think that's going to be one of the big stories in the NFL. So I'm a little scared about this one tonight because I don't think the Chiefs win was that impressive now.
Yeah, I get that. I just think with Worthy back, I think that just gives them that extra element. And we'll see if it works against the Jags, but yeah, I think that they'll be all right.
It'll be fun. I heard Kendall Gammon on earlier today with Pete Mundo talking about the approach to a Monday night game. It's just it throws your week off and everything else. But you know, Monday Night Football, when I was a kid, Mark, growing up, it was the thing. I mean, it was the thing. It's become the Sunday night game. Late Sunday windows are the ones that get the big ratings now. But I love Monday Night Football, and I know players like it because they get to play in front of the rest of the league. They know everybody else in the league is watching.
Back when I was growing up, it was Alan, Frank, and Dan. That was the Monday night crew that I watched when I was a kid.
Well, I got into this line of work because of a man named Howard Cosell.
Oh, yeah.
Boy, we love to hate him in Kansas City. He was a New Yorker through and through. In those days, they had Monday Night Baseball. in the summertime. And the Royals and Yankees had quite a rivalry in the 70s. And Howard Cosell was just flat out a homer. If he was calling a Royals-Yankees game, he was just flat out a homer. He loved the Yankees and hated the Royals. And you could just tell. And it just dripped with arrogance. But, man, that guy was the best. I mean, he literally invented Monday Night Football. Like, there would be not – Howard Cosell did as much for the NFL as any coach ever did. It was just a – Monday Night Football just became an absolute monster because of Howard Cosell. You had to turn him on and see what he was going to say. He was really out there, man.
As weird as it sounds, I used to watch some Howard Cosell on YouTube when I was also getting into broadcasting. I just thought he was really good, so I'm backing you on that one.
Definitely really, really good. So Chiefs and Jags on Monday Night Football tonight. I'll go ahead. I mean, we're just going to jump on a bandwagon. Everybody's going to pick the Chiefs to win. We're just going to do that. Listen, this is a Mahomes game, all right, because a couple times this year the Chiefs have gotten bogged down offensively and not been able to make plays when they need to, and it's been Mahomes scrambling that has kind of kept the offense alive. This offense needs to function without him scrambling so much. I don't mind if they have a couple running plays or do things with Mahomes like that, but this is a Mahomes night. This is go out on the road, make some throws. We've been hearing about all these deep passes they're hitting in practice, and that's the new offense. Tonight's the night. I'm ready to see it. Worthy's another week in on the roster, and I'm with you. I think he can make a big difference, but it's going to take some big downfield passes tonight.
Yeah, I think they can connect on a couple of those. And I think Thornton can still play a part. He only had one catch last week, but I think he can still be involved when they draw up some plays for him as well.
Man, he's a really good player for the Patriots to have just let go.
Mm-hmm.
And he's fitting in really nice in Kansas City. So we'll see what that looks like. And I'll go did you go 27-20 earlier today? Is that what I heard?
I had 27-20.
You had 27-20?
Yep.
I'm going to take a weird score. I got a 22 on the board or something like 26-22, 27-22. Let's go like that. I don't know whether it'll be a 2-point conversion or a missed kick or something that was going to lead to a funky score. Let's go 27-22.
It makes sense. There's always some weird kick or something.
Every time I saw this stat, every time the Chiefs have played the Jaguars, I think they've played 7 times. Every single time it's gone under.
Really?
They've never played an over. They've never played an over. These are always mutt kind of games. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think the Chiefs beat them 22-17 at one point, so I think that 22 number does stick.
There you go. Okay. Well, we need to clean this one up tonight. I don't want an ugly game. I want to see a Ferrari of an offense tonight. Let's go get it.
Let's go.
All right, the Vince Show's coming up next. Thanks so much for listening to Uncanceled. You're on KCMO Talk Radio.